And that's a decision that I can't thank myself enough for making. Because when I look back at it now, I would have spent somewhere around $7,000 already. Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the My Stock Journey channel. So today I wanted to go over something that I've actually been asked a couple times now, just from peers and my friends, some of you guys on YouTube, and that was, what steps did I take, or how did I get to the point at being like 18 years old, coming up on 19 in a few months, and investing $500, $600, $700 a week. And I just wanted to quickly go over that. I feel like these are some things that can apply to almost anyone. I mean, especially the younger generation coming up. I'm going to throw in some good advice, some good tips that I believe are the key reasons why I was able to invest pretty solid amounts of money just as a teenager. And with that being said, I felt like it would be a good idea just to go ahead and give that to you guys. So I hope you do enjoy this video. If you do, please drop a like on the video. It helps me reach new audiences with all the engagement, and it's super amazing. If you could also drop a comment for any future suggestions of videos, any questions, anything like that, I always reply down in the comments. And if you are new to the channel and this is the first video you're watching, please subscribe. If not, it is all good, I understand. Let's get into the video. So, very first key aspect, this is probably going to be the most obvious thing, and that's get some income. Right now, I know that might be a lot harder and easier said than done, right? Well, the thing about that is you can almost generate income from any aspect of your life, right? It might not be a lot, but it's definitely going to be some. You can get some from anywhere. And so the big step for me was when I was 16 years old, boom, I got a job. Now, did I need to get a job at the time? No. Right? I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys and be like, yeah, I came out the dirt, I did that. No, honestly, like, I had a very solid family. You know, my mom and my dad, they pretty much, if I wanted something, I got it. I had to work for it. I didn't just get anything I wanted. That'd be great. But if I would work for something, if I would do my stuff right, if I do the right stuff in school, keep training and keep doing all the right things, I could get the things that I asked for, basically. And with that being said, I didn't come from an extremely wealthy family, but we're pretty well off, and there's that. But the reason I got a job is because I knew that one day, even from a young age, I knew one day this money I can make now will make me more later. And I didn't know how, and I didn't know like what I was gonna do, but I knew one day this 16-year-old money I'm making, this probably at the time I was making $150 a week at my job, and one day this money is gonna make me more. And so with that being said, I got a job at a local pizza place. I was working 30 hours on weekends because I'm an MMA fighter. I've said it a couple of times now. And so I was just super busy during the week. I trained 3 to 5 hours a day. I'm at school until 3 at the time. And so trying to do all that plus work wasn't really possible. So I would go to school and then go train, and then my day was pretty much over. And then come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was working 10 hours a day. Well, time goes on, I'm saving up all this money. But the thing about it was, I'm saving this money, I'm making this money, but I'm not saving this money. And then there was something that started to click with me when I turned about 17, was like, man, I've been working my ass off for the last year, and I've only put $400 in my bank account, 500 maybe. And that's when the wheel started turning in my head. I'm like, why? What am I doing? So I started doing my little research. I started doing my YouTube stuff and going on YouTube and trying to figure it all out. And I'm coming across Graham Stephan and all these different financial people, but none of that really honestly helped me. What helped me was doing some self-recognition and putting some blame on myself that I'm buying stuff I don't need. I was in high school. I used to always be the super nerdy kid, and I was starting to gain some traction with fighting. So I was kind of getting a little bit more popular, and with all this stuff happening, it almost gave me this feeling that I needed to impress someone. I needed to prove myself to the society. Now what that caused is, it caused me to want to go buy new clothes. It wanted me to go buy new shoes, games, whatever I wanted, I would buy it, because that was my way of filling that void that I missed out on. Because I was never really the popular kid, and then once I started gaining that traction, like I said, I felt like I needed to fill up all that missed time with buying all the new clothes and new shoes and looking cool and sounding cool, And that was mistake number one. That was honestly mistake number one, is thinking that I had something to prove to anyone but myself. Now, what that led to is, it led to me understanding that if I don't need it, I don't buy it. And that's something I stand to I'm very, very, very dedicated to that. If I can't either, one, make money from it, I don't need it, or if I want it for over 5 months. Now I'm talking if it's like a $5 burrito that I'm not really hungry, but I want it, not that. I'm talking if I'm putting hundreds of dollars into something, I'm got to think about this for a couple months at least. Now, the only time that I've ever wanted something for over that amount of time were my tattoos. And I'm still working on that. I'm going to finish my sleeve. But that's something I've been thinking about since I was 16, 15 years old. And it's something I've dedicated myself to. And I don't regret it at all. Well, with all this being said, that led me from making income to saving this income. And that was very important, because a lot of people make money, and the more money they make, the more they spend. The more money they make, the more they want to show people that they make money, and the more they spend. Now, that's not right, because you have no reason to prove yourself to anyone but yourself. You are the only person that needs, to be anything proven to. Prove to yourself that you can do these things. Prove to yourself, because, we all have self-doubt, and that's a big problem. And the thing about it is, with running, say, prove to yourself that you can run 5 miles. If you're like, man, I don't know if I could run 5 miles, get up and go and push and run 5 miles. And you just prove to yourself the joy that you will bring to proving yourself wrong, that you thought you couldn't do something, you do it, will bring you so much more satisfaction than proving it to a bunch of people who really don't matter, right? These people you're friends with now, maybe your best friends are important, but the people you're kind of just acquaintances with that you typically try to prove stuff to them the most, because realistically, if you're best friends with someone, you don't need to prove anything to them. They're your best friend. You're only proving stuff to people who don't matter. You're trying to get acceptance from. They don't matter. They're unimportant. So why spend all your money that you've been working your ass off for to prove stuff to people who don't really have the best interest for you in mind? So with all that being said, it led me to save, and I was saving. And I continued my journey, and I was saving. I was figuring out how smaller ways I can save, downloading the Exxon Mobil app. So every time I get gas, I can save like 10 cents. And that all adds up, getting a free tank of gas here and there. And it all adds up. And then as time was pushing on, now I'm about 3 months away from turning 18. And that's when the light bulbs pop off, that I can make more money from more places. And I don't know, all these things may seem obvious, but the thing about it is that when you're a teenager, money's not that important. You don't have bills and rent and kids and all this stuff, so you don't really think about the importance of having more money. But I was thinking future-wise. I can make more money, and the more money I make, the more I can make off that. And I did not know how I was going to do it. I had no idea what the stock market was. I deleted the stock app off my phone. It was just wasting storage. And stuff like that. And so as time goes on, I'm thinking, okay, well, where can I make more money from? And it clicks. Well, what am I good at? I can make money from stuff I'm good at, right? That's how it works. And at the time, I was super big into spray painting, doing art and spray paint and selling. So as time goes on, I start to sell them. And again, small money, small profits. But it's not the amount of money I was making at the time, it's the lessons I was learning at the time and the habits I was building at the time. And so as time goes on, I'm thinking, I sell this painting here, I make $30 here. And if I only spend $10 on supplies, that's a $20 profit. Now that might seem small, but it's those small lessons of understanding profit margins that I taught myself by accident. So as time goes on, what else am I good at? I'm good at fighting. Boom, it's my 18th birthday. Now I'm fighting. And I can fight for real, MMA. Now I'm starting to get a little bit more money from this. I fought my first fight August 3rd. I think I made like $600. Fully transparent with it. I made about $600. And at that time, just getting that much money, it's like, whoa, that fast, right? And what I do, I spent a lot of it, right? Because though I had learned that lesson, I had never had the opportunity to put it into effect. And with that being said, I just didn't really understand how to put that lesson into use. Then I look back at it a month later and I'm like, why did I spend all my money? I should have saved it. And then next thing you know, I'm like, where can I, okay, I'm not spending much, but how can I cut down even more? So I start looking and I'm like, what do I have subscriptions in? And I have Apple Music, Spotify, Netflix, all these things. And I'm like, well, what if I go and get rid of those? right? Because those subscriptions, unless you need the subscription, we all have a lot more than we realize we do. And if you really put it on paper, how much you're spending on subscriptions a month, I guarantee you look at like $10, $15 you don't need to be spending. So, you know, I'm going and I'm trying to figure out, okay, how can I save? And I want to do this. And then this was when the biggest decision that I've ever made came into effect, and that was to not go to college out of state. Now, I'm not telling anyone, especially if you're younger than me, you're 18, 17, 16, 15, 13, 14, whatever. I'm not telling you, if your dream college is the University of Florida, go. You get the opportunity, go. For me personally, financially, I only wanted to go out of state just cause. Just a kid who didn't really know what I was talking about. I also wanted to move out. I thought, I want my own space. I want to feel like an adult. And so with that being said, I want to go and move out and have my own place and do all this stuff. And then one day I sat back and I thought, I'm about to spend a lot of money doing the same thing I'm doing right now. I'm about to go out of state and go to a college that's just equally as good as my college that I could be going to in town 3 minutes away. I'm about to move out into a house and go live in a house and do the same things in that house that I'm doing in this house, but I'm going to be spending $500 a month more. And then that's when it started to ring a bell, and I thought, this is dumb. It's genuinely dumb. There's no need for this. And that's a decision that I can't thank myself enough for making. Because when I look back at it now, I would have spent somewhere around $7,000 already just on rent, food, stuff like that. And that's substantial. At an 18-year-old, that's substantial. That means over time, I would have been spending 40%, 50%, 60% of my checks doing the same things that I do now for the sole purpose of it seemed cool. It seemed cool. Let's go move out and do our own thing. And let's just sit in our rooms all day. But hey, at least we own the room. You know, it's dumb for me personally. It was just dumb. And so once again, started doing that. Then boom, biggest realization ever. I kept reading and reading and reading, and I'm just like, people, all I hear is make your money work for you. Well, how do I do that? It doesn't move. I can't, I can't make it learn how to clone itself. It's inanimate. How do I make it turn into more? And then one day I'm on the internet, and I'm on YouTube actually, and I'm looking, and I'm on Graham Stephan's channel, and a little recommended post comes from a guy named Andre Jick, and he's like, dividend investing for beginners. What is a dividend? No, skip it. Skip it. I remember this because I thought back to this. Like 2 weeks later, I go back and I'm looking, and I see it pop up again. And I'm like, well, it ain't gonna pop up twice without me clicking it. So I click it and I learn, boom, fully immersed into a new world. The stock market, dividends, trade options, day trading, Forex, Bitcoin, all this stuff that I've always heard of. But it was so ignorant, so naive, that I never really felt like it was important to me. And that's an issue. Because people always think that just because they don't know about something that it couldn't be valuable to them, and that's wrong. Because the most valuable things that you will acquire in your life are something you've probably ignored before. And so with that being said, boom, I learned about it. 2 weeks later, I'm full in, right? I've been doing this. I've been learning. Andre Jick, Benji was another one I came across. All these different YouTubers, and I'm like, okay, well, how do I start? I've been watching all these YouTube channels, but now I got nervous. So I wait another week. And then time goes on, and I say, F it. Right? I was like, let's just do it. Now, F it to me was $100. We're going to put $100 into M1 Finance to see what happens. Now, mind you, the investment I made was in a Tesla in December. And now I wish I would have put in more. But I was ignorant. I was naive. I didn't know what I was doing. So I put in 100 in a Tesla 2 months later, or a month later, let's say. It's $130. And my mind was blown. I was like, I'm a genius. That's literally what I thought. I was like, I'm a genius. I know how to do something more than everyone else does. Now, mind you, we all know now Tesla was it just did its thing out of nowhere, right? But at the time, this was December, January. At the time, I was like, I'm a genius. I'm telling my mom how I'm about to quit my job because I figured it out. Right? Typical 18-year-old stuff. And I keep going, and I realize, okay, that was kind of rare, what happened with Tesla, from 200 to 900 out of nowhere. Kind of rare. But the thing about it was that I finally understood, and I finally had my first moment of realization that it's true, that your money can make you more money. When I was 16 and I knew I'm gonna make this money and I'm gonna turn it into more. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna. It was true. It finally came true. I had my aha moment. And that's always the best. When you have that aha moment and you realize I can turn my life around right now. I can do something else. I was going like this, now I can go like this. And that was my moment. I invested $100 into Tesla. And when I watched it grow, I realized there's an opportunity out there other than the rat race. So I got out, right? My favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes is use your 9-to-5 to fuel your side hustle until your side hustle replaces your 9-to-5. And that's absolutely beautiful because that's what I'm doing. You know, I still work at the mall. I still have a job in the store because my side hustles, my dividends, my fighting, my private lessons, my trading, it doesn't make enough yet. It doesn't make enough to replace that, to get to the level of comfortability that I want to be at. But it will. And so with all that being said, I learned all these lessons. And I learned, save it. Save your money. Don't buy things you don't need. Give it time that if you really want something, you'll really want it 5 months from now. Right? Invest your money because that's where the money doubles. Those savings accounts, they don't make much, right? Educate yourself. Don't jump into stuff randomly. And I didn't have to learn that the hard way, gladly. Number 6, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. No one. You have nothing to prove. When you feel like you have something to prove, you spend more money than you absolutely will ever spend. That's truth. Because whenever you're sitting here and you feel like you have something to prove to somebody, there's always something more you could have. Oh, you just bought Air Force Ones? Well, you didn't buy the ones that came out yesterday. Oh, I gotta prove to them I'm cool, so I gotta go buy those. $700 gone. Oh, you got Air Force Ones? I got the new Yeezys. $800, and it's a cycle, it's a domino effect. And as soon as time starts coming, dude, you done lost a lot. Where you take that $1,600 you just spent on 3 pairs of shoes to prove some people wrong who are not gonna matter to you in 2 years. That $1,600 you could have invested into Tesla in December. Maybe 4, 5 grand now. And that's how I got to this point. That's how I've managed to save my money and not spend it and realize I have nothing to prove. So all I do is pay for food, pay my bills I gotta pay, and I just pocket all my money. And as soon as I get it, boom, invest. I invest 85% of every dollar I make. Why can I do that? Because I only buy the things I need or the things I've wanted for months. It's the only 2 things. That's how I save it. And the big one, just if you can take anything away from my journey up until this point and the lessons I've learned, is you have nothing to prove to anyone. You do not, unless you're a car guy and you love cars and you want the new car, go get the new car if that satisfies you. Because I feel like the only reason we're making all this money is to live the lives that we want to live. If the life you want to live is to drive the car of your dreams, go do it. But if you want the new BMW to show it to the girl at the bar, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy. It's so important to realize when you want to save money and you want to be able to invest more, the only thing that matters is fulfilling your own happiness, not trying to prove anything to anyone, and just living off of what you need. Because in the long run, you will have more money than you need, and then you can do whatever you want. So that's my story. I hope you guys did enjoy that. I hope you guys did learn anything that I could, I've went through. I hope it did teach any of you a new lesson, something you could realize or take a look at. I don't know. I just really felt like I wanted to get super close to you guys and give you my journey. I told you about my 5 sources of income, but I never really went into depth about how I've made it to the point that I'm at. And, I love you guys. You help me out so much. You give me such boost of confidence and motivation in the comments, and it's absolutely amazing. You're transforming my life in ways that I never thought possible. And so with that being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, like I said, please drop a like. It helps me out a lot. If you want to drop a comment, anything, I'll reply to you there. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon. Peace.